Hello, my loves. Rihanna Helmicke coming to you live on Facebook. I just noticed that my pen is reflecting light, probably not into the camera. Trying. Okay, so today is about gratitude and what is important for all of us to, pay attention to and notice is when we, as a whole, as humanity, have used a word so much that it kind of watered down in its perceived meaning. The meaning in itself is always extremely big and deep and unchanged, but the the way we perceive it, it's it's often losing depth and mm, weight, kind of. And I am asked with this letter to change that and to kind of come back to, you know, knowing and feeling the whole of gratitude. And so we read and we contemplate and we read again. And I was just confused, just irritated for a moment there because I feel that this eye looks way smaller than this eye. And I know that in pictures, we always have like one eye a little smaller than the other, but this looks so creepy. It looks so, now I've made you aware of it, so I don't have to suffer on my own. But don't you think? Why is that? Isn't that weird? That because of the light, makeup? I don't know. See? Teeny tiny. Normal. Weird. Okay. Well, I think we just have to deal with it now. I can't change any of that now. I can try and which one is it? This one I have to squeeze this one or open the other one. Okay, well, let's try to be professional, shall we? We read and we contemplate and we read again. Good luck not just focusing on my eyes now. Dear God, what would you have me know today? My love, invite gratitude into your day again, every 30 minutes, just like when you started. And beyond stopping and letting gratitude fill you, expand the feeling, expand the field, and then hold the frequency. As you continue with the task at hand, can you make gratitude the undercurrent of your whole being, of all of your doing? Cleaning up your apartment with gratitude, working out with gratitude, choosing what to eat with gratitude, creating a program with gratitude, looking out the window and seeing the leaves dance in the morning sun with gratitude, solving a problem with gratitude, facing a hard time with gratitude, writing with gratitude, connecting with old friends with gratitude, feeling the sun on your skin with gratitude, smelling the coffee with gratitude, taking a breath with gratitude, all of it with gratitude. What will follow are miracles. You can already feel it in your body. Very good. Love, God. So, I when I was in Bali beginning of this year, well, first third of the year, I was there for 4 months. I started this thing. I was asked by my good friend Shilamida, and she's the goddess of gratitude. So gratitude is her whole like life and business, and like because this is like her mission to really get people to understand the magnitude and the impact and the importance of gratitude. And that being a real, felt, really like really understood, embodied gratitude, not just, yeah, sure, I'm thankful. And so she asked me at some point, do you have a gratitude practice? And, this is the thing, like gratitude being one of the absolute basic concepts. And it's like, duh, of course it's important. But did I have a gratitude practice? Nope. And so I went back because about a year ago, her and I had a podcast recording. We actually had a second recording, which is not out yet, but we had our first podcast recording on the Hard Truth Living podcast about a year ago. And there I remembered she talked about how she started with gratitude and what her practices were back then and what they are now. And so instead of just asking her in that moment when she told me, like, you should have a gratitude practice, I was like, okay, but what am I supposed to do? I just went back and listened to our conversation. I listened to that old podcast. And there she said it. She said that when she first started, and I don't actually know if she's still doing this. I think it's now just become her way. Like she doesn't need any like reminders or like a framework or anything. She doesn't need that structure anymore because it has become her. And but what she did when she first started was she put 20 reminders during one day, every day, 20 to remember to practice feeling the feeling of gratitude. So I adapted that, of course, during that conversation about a year ago. And even then, like when she mentioned it now, when I was still in Bali, I was like, 20? That is excessive. And it is not, because what gratitude is supposed to be is a constant flow of energy, a constant frequency, a field where we're tapped in every moment. And so 20 reminders are probably not enough because the goal is however we get there. You put on post-its, if you tattoo it on your arm. I don't have it tattooed. I have other stuff tattooed on my arm, but I was just holding this as a example. You can tattoo it here. You can write it here. You can write it on post-it notes and stick it all around your house. Be ever present. Make it your wallpaper, your background on your phone, on your computer, whatever. But gratitude should be so ever present, just like for me, love is. That was how I compared it just in the feeling of my body, which that is a thing that I do when I want to implement any new way of thinking, being, feeling, and I don't have it down yet, then I look for something in my life where I do the exact thing that I would like to, accomplish now with gratitude, for example, and think to myself and like really scan my life, scan my being and go, okay, so where am I always aware of something where the frequency of, oh, I got that, like I managed to do this before, taking a thing and make my whole life about it. And at first you have to make your whole life about it, but then it becomes your way, and then it's just an undercurrent that just runs with you as you live your life. just like breathing is, which we never had to learn, most of us, luckily. Um, but we don't have to remind ourselves to breathe. And then I did that with love. Be here as love, looking for the love. What does love see? What does love ask? How does love listen? What does love create? What does love choose to do next? Love, 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 love. So I've accomplished this with love. So I just grabbed that frequency basically, and I'm now beginning to pull that in and just do the same thing with gratitude. And so that is the goal, to have it run with us just like breathing. And whatever is necessary to get ourselves there, we can do. Whatever is fun for us, whatever has worked before, whatever strategies work. But, not but, and. The goal is to never do one step, never say one word, contemplate, never take ultimately one breath without the frequency of gratitude in it. And it's possible. It's definitely possible. Anything is possible. And I listened, well, I of course, my mentor Melanie and Lair, she has talked about gratitude and what a key component in her own development this has been. But I listened to an old training of hers, and she mentioned that when she first discovered that gratitude has such a big meaning in the universe, in the universal law, and in our creation power, what she did at first was that she just don't want to get a coughing fit. Take a sip. And she put a timer. On her phone every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, her phone would get off, reminding her to be grateful. And her goal was to see if she, in between those two 10-minute timers, if she stayed locked into the gratitude frequency. And she said at first, the timer would go off and she would be like, oh yeah, gratitude, this thing. And then that would be like that for quite a while. But then at some point, she would not be surprised by the alarm going off, the reminder going off. And then she, with time, managed to really stay in the frequency of gratitude and really stay locked in and pull that frequency of gratitude into the task at hand, the contemplation, the conversation, anything. And that's what I'm practicing now. I have started doing this gratitude thing with my timer going off every 30 minutes. So it was a good intuition. Melanie went a little harder, which let's see if I'll do it with 10 minutes. But I've now just started to put it back onto 30 minutes, every 30 minutes ish. Let's say now that I have this recording on, I just put it onto like an hour, just in case I talk more than 30 minutes, so that's not going off in the middle, which it has happened before. It's also not a big deal. And I guess that's also, I should probably even, ignore meetings and still have it go off. Like I can have it go off as a silent alarm. and then only I see it. It doesn't disturb the conversation. But the goal is that in a conversation like this right now, to have the frequency of gratitude run as an undercurrent in every moment, every breath. And so what it's also said in the letter is that what I've done before is like the alarm goes off, gratitude. Okay, gratitude, stop. And I would stop everything and I would just look around and be like, okay, what am I grateful for? And then I would look at my water bottle. I would look out the window and notice the beautiful weather. I would notice, I don't know, this morning I did yoga and the alarm went off while I was doing yoga. And so I was grateful for my healthy body. Um, and so things like this. And then I would have this moment and gratitude would fill me. I would really feel that energy and this frequency fill my body. Actually, not like that, but actually like fill my body. So around here, let's say. And what it says here in the letter is don't just stop and let it fill you, but like expand the field. And that's actually something we can do with any feeling. And we have probably all experienced this with like franticness and anger and fear and anxiousness. For some reason, we're very good at making those feelings big. And it's like you can just imagine, like, let's say you feel a little bit frustrated, and someone would be able to see your energetic field, or now, things like science is able to measure it even. So we would paint your energetic field, I don't know, your aura, whatever. It would probably be here, like all around your body. So, but then you really like, you kind of like spiral into it and you're like getting really frustrated. And then you're frustrated about being frustrated. And then whatever, like compounding negative emotions. And then this field of frustration grows. And probably if, we were to ask anyone that experiences this, they would probably say, here, it's a paper and a stick figure on it, and this is you, and now draw the field of frustration around you. And all right, and then we wait and we spiral into the frustration, and there's the next stick figure on the paper. Okay, draw your field of frustration now, and we would probably just intuitively draw a bigger field around us. And so that we can do. We create this energy field. We create it in that moment, and we have the freedom to create it as big and as much as we want, as intensely, as long as we want. We are the creator in that moment. And by the way, creating positive emotions is one of the most powerful creator moves that we can pull, which clocks us in the universe as real, like powerful creators, not just creating positive emotions, but being aware of this creation, of our creation, and then of managing and handling them well. So if I really become a master of the creation of my feelings and of my emotional field around me, that gives me universal credit. Not street cred, but universal cred. um, because we are aware of what we're doing. That's good. That's good because then now the universe can send us stuff. And because we're aware and we choose to, use it for the good, to create positive emotions, and we know how to handle this, we also know how to get from neutral to positive. We also know how to handle negative emotions. We're not, running around like headless chicken and compound and grow negative emotions because we're aware. We choose not to do this. So, universal cred for being aware and mastering the creation of positive emotions. Good. Now, with gratitude, to have the frequency of gratitude turned on at all times is probably the master move. It is the master move. I don't know. I'm not there yet. I'll report back, but I don't know if it's possible to actually have it on all the time. But I believe it will be for sure a frequency that is so familiar in the body that the slightest little thing will set me off, remind me, and turn it on. And this feels like goes on. And so what we can do is, like be grateful and sure, and there's this warm feeling in my heart and in my chest, and it's lovely. And then we can grow it and we can focus on that beautiful feeling and we can imagine it fills our whole body beautiful. And then we can even grow it even more, like with every conscious breath. We can just imagine this beautiful energy field, however you want to imagine it, if it's just a feeling, if it's a color, if it's a texture, if it's a light, if it's a pulsing, whatever. You can just imagine this field growing and then it grows beyond your skin and it grows beyond, 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 beyond. And you can really take that far. And it's almost like I wonder, it's like nervous system capacity work. Because if you have a person who for their whole life have been trained to just be neutral, and I've known people like this and Germans in general, not in all areas of Germany. There are actually big differences, but certain areas of Germany, people are a little more somber, quiet, and it's considered classy, but it's almost mute. And so they're still wonderful, lovely people, and they still have all their emotions, but the way they express it and even probably feel it in their bodies, it's all just a little dialed down and like, don't disturb the world with your emotional outbursts. So if you have a person like this and they grew up like this, they saw that, they practiced this, that's their way. If you tell them, okay, now be excited and be excited for a long time and be more excited and be loud excited. Even if they wanted to, and even, let's say they really decide that they kind of want to commit to that and want to be that and invite this into their life. It's like you put a person who has never worked out into like a gym, they would get sore and incredible muscle pain. And that's the same with practicing feeling and feeling big and widening this field of emotions. And so that's the stretching we have to do, practice to stretch our field so that our body knows of that, knows of the bigness of this field, how it's possible to feel so big. Yeah. Okay, so it's the expand the field, yes. Yeah. And holding the frequency. Yeah. And then at the end it says what will follow are miracles. And when this letter came through, when I wrote this morning, it's like this, whenever there's a transmission coming through, there's a very original, very untainted frequency that comes with it. And so I am very, very conscious and very, focused, I guess, when I write these letters, and feel in my body the original imprint of the letter, basically. And usually what's being described after, when I talk here, it grows again, it kind of like awakens again, but in the moment when it comes through, the frequency imprint of the message, of the transmission, is very tangible. So when I wrote this, like, there was this, it was like a, it was like rolling light. Like, weird thing to say, but it was like this field of gratitude would expand, and it's a light field. It's like white light, and it felt like from the core out, it would like roll as energy waves, and then compounded, it would become almost uncontrollable. Like, at some point, I don't have to, like, okay, make this field grow and make it expand and hold the frequency. At some point, there's like a snowball effect, like a perpetuating uh, expansion, growth, where it gets a life on its own. It like goes out off into the universe and like does its thing, basically. Um, and that was fascinating. And so I can only, recall the memory of this right now, but I have it in my body, and I'm after that. So that's what I'm going to practice from now on with this gratitude practice. And practice to hold the frequency, have the frequency be locked in between the timers, and see that gratitude becomes an ever-present energy in every moment. Let's see how well this goes. Okay, so we read too close. Dear God, what would you have me know today? My love, invite gratitude into your day again, every 30 minutes, just like when you started. And beyond stopping and letting gratitude fill you, expand the feeling, expand the field, and then hold the frequency as you continue with the task at hand. Can you make gratitude the undercurrent of your whole being, of all of your doing? Cleaning up your apartment with gratitude, working out with gratitude, choosing what to eat with gratitude, creating a program with gratitude, looking out the window and seeing the leaves dance in the morning sun with gratitude, solving a problem with gratitude, facing a hard time with gratitude, writing with gratitude, connecting with old friends with gratitude, feeling the sun on your skin with gratitude, smelling the coffee with gratitude, taking a breath with gratitude, all of it with gratitude. What will follow are miracles. You can already feel it in your body. Very good. Love, God. All right, my loves. I love you. And me and my two different sized eyes. We'll see you soon.